Here we have a pot of water with a tablespoon of chicken bouillon on medium heat. We are now going to place our chicken breast inside the pot with the lid on, cooking for about 45 to 60 minutes. Here are the ingredients that you will need for your salsa. You are going to need to put your pan on high heat with a little bit of oil. I like to get a tomato and rub the oil around the pan while I place all the ingredients. Here you have your tomatoes, your serrano chilies, your onion, and your garlic cloves. After about 2 minutes, you are going to turn over your garlic cloves and your onions. Those will cook faster, so those will be in the blender first. Then your serrano chilies and your tomatoes. I allow the tomatoes to cook on each side for about 5 minutes. That's when they usually get a good roast. But depending on how they cook on your stove, just make sure that they are roasted on both sides. The serrano chilies are now ready to be placed inside the blender, but make sure that you take off the stem first. Now that everything is done roasting and placed in the blender, you want to add 1 cup of the chicken boiling water, 1/4 cup of chicken bouillon. Make sure you let it cool for about 5 minutes before blending, and you are going to blend it for about a minute. You are now going to get a saucepan, add a little bit of oil, then your blended salsa. I like to use some of the boiling water from the chicken, place it in the blender, and get the remaining salsa. Now we are going to wait until our salsa comes to a boil. Once it does, we are now done with our salsa. We are now going to start with the head of cabbage. We are going to cut it in half, and we are going to start cutting it like shredded cabbage. You can also buy a bag of already shredded cabbage at the store if you don't want the hassle. Now we are going to move on to the guacamole. You are going to cut them in half, take out the pits, that we are done, we are now going to scoop out the avocado that's inside. Make sure you have none of the skin left over from the inside of the avocado. Now we are going to mash the avocado until it is broken down and soft. Once majority of it is broken down, you're going to add some crema or sour cream, some salt and some pepper. The sour cream gives it a real creamy flavor. You are going to add a little bit of lemon juice to help the color not to change, and it also gives a good taste. We are now done with our toppings. You have your crema, cotija cheese, guacamole, and cabbage. Now that our chicken is done, we are now going to take it out and let it cool for about 5 minutes. If you do not have time to let it cool, you can get 2 forks and break it down. The chicken should be soft enough to just shred right then and there. We are now going to start seasoning the chicken with salt and pepper and mix real good. We are now going to start warming up our corn tortillas. You want them warm enough to be flexible to roll. Now we are going to start rolling. You will need some toothpicks. Put a little bit of chicken in the middle of the corn tortilla. You are now going to roll from the side that is towards you. Get a toothpick and place it in the middle to hold it all together. While you are rolling, you are going to want to get a frying pan with some oil in it. Put it on medium heat. Once the heat is ready, you are going to now start placing your taquitos with the toothpick down. After about a minute or so, you are now going to start turning over your taquitos. You want to make sure your taquitos are golden on each side before taking out. Now you are going to get everything ready to start plating. All your toppings, your taquitos, and your salsa. Your taquitos are first, but make sure you take out the toothpicks.